MotorWeek is made possible by Rock Auto, Tire Rack, and Die Hard.
So let's get to the action in our first performance jaunts. They involve two renditions of modern front-wheel drive Detroit iron, the Dodge Daytona CS and this Ford Escort EXP. Now both of them are modest reworks of a mass appeal chassis, and that's the hallmark of the Detroit industry's approach to performance. What they do is take an existing body and chassis and exploit it with more power, sporty suspension settings, and tires. Now, both the CS and the EXP cost less than the King's ransom and have versatile hatchback bodies. So obviously their designers know that cars like these will serve double duty as middle-of-the-road performance cars and as suburban family coupes. But can they do either mission well? As for the Dodge Daytona CS, though it does exist in a world full of compromises, you'll find it doesn't give up much of the base Daytona's utility for this highest performance image. The CS is an inexpensive $183 option over the already competent $11,301 Daytona Turbo Z, so the insides are pretty much the same in both cars, and that means sporting. And except for legroom, it's reasonably spacious for the front passengers. The seats are firm and high bolstered. There's plenty of room for storage. After all, there's no roll bar or anything like that to take up space. The cramped rear seats are of the split and fold variety, and a cargo cover provides extra hatchback security. But since the CS on this car stands for Carroll Shelby, Chrysler's racer in residence, our real focus for this Daytona is on its moving performance. This year, the CS means mostly a retuned handling package for the Daytona. It includes VR-rated 50 Series Gatorback tires on alloy wheels, gas-filled struts, and stiffer bushings with a thicker front sway bar for more roll stiffness. We found the CS hangs on a lot longer in turns than the regular Turbo Z. It seems more willing to be tossed into curves. Other Daytona handling characteristics are still there, and that's good, since its mild front-end plow and smooth, stable response will keep a lot of drivers out of trouble. But for those drivers who like positive feedback through the steering wheel, the Daytona hasn't changed enough. The CS power steering is high effort, but still doesn't give you a really good feel for the road. But even though this is an even better handling car, the CS still has a civilized highway ride. Only on really rough roads do shocks reach the interior, and then mostly through the steering wheel. Since there were no alterations to the powertrain for this CS treatment, acceleration remains similar to the Turbo Z, 0 to 60 in 9 seconds. And it ran through the quarter mile in 16.8 seconds at 82 miles per hour. That's near the realm of very fast, but not quite. The CS's power comes from Chrysler's 2.2-liter Turbo 4. Right now, it generates 146 horsepower and 170 pound-feet of torque. Unfortunately, though it gives the CS a fine quantity of acceleration, it still lacks in quality. Not only is it a buzzy engine, but at every full throttle start, the steering wheel wants to pull out of your hands. That old dreaded torque steer, and lots of it, is the culprit. So for 86, with most respectable everyday driving virtues intact, it looks like improved handling is what the CS is really about. But maybe not for long. Next year, the Daytona's Chrysler Laser Twin will be gone. The go-for-it-alone Dodge will get revised styling with hideaway headlights. The second-generation Chrysler turbo motor is also due. With intercooler, output is estimated at 175 horses. So Chrysler engineers will surely improve on the torque steer problem. Otherwise, the next hottest Daytona will not only be faster, but much more difficult to manage. But you do get a lot for the inexpensive CS option. Surely it's the most aggressive and best handling Daytona yet, and it still manages to keep you satisfied even when you're running for the groceries. But if any car makes you think of doing daily chores, it's the Ford Escort and this two-seat Escort EXP, although that image too is changing. In 1985 and a half, Ford sent the EXP on vacation from its life of commuting drudgery. It came back in 86 and a half a changed car. The homely bug eyes are gone now, replaced by a proper 80s Ford nose. Both EXPs, the luxury coupe and the sport coupe, get a front air dam, wheel spats for the side, and at the rear there are fashionable dark tail lamps, a hatch lip spoiler, and even a rear underbody spoiler. It's too bad, though, that not all of the EXP's aerodynamic appendages are functional. Still, we think the car's a whole lot more appealing than it was before. Inside, there's the driver-canted dashboard and improved instrumentation that was introduced in 1984. The EXP also gets all the updates the Escort got in its 85.5 makeover. That includes new and much more comfortable seats and an even slicker standard 5-speed shift linkage. With reasonably short throws, it's the best of any U.S.-made front-drive car. But EXP interior dimensions haven't changed. There's still plenty of room for luggage and such in this 94-inch wheelbase two-seater. As for engines, the EXP gets the new 86-horsepower Escort 1.9 to replace the old 1.6. It not only makes more power, but gets better fuel economy. The EXP Sport Coupe gets this 108-horsepower fuel-injected high-output version of the 1.9. It replaces the old turbo engine and produces a quarter-mile time of 17.5 seconds at 77 miles per hour, which makes the EXP good training for a future Mustang GT owner. Underneath, the EXP gets suspension upgrades and standard 14-inch tires on the $7,186 luxury model and 15-inch performance rubber on the $8,235 sports model. They replace the old car's base 13-inch tires and the turbo's hard-to-fit TRX performance rims. So despite feeling somewhat heavier than the sportiest Escort GT, the new EXP is much more of a sports commuter car than ever before. The EXP did return with a whole new image, and judging by early sales, more popularity. It's sportier, much better looking, but still with excellent two-seat practicality. That vacation did wonders. Yes, like the Dodge Daytona CS, the Ford Escort EXP can be moved and move small families well. And if you're not too picky, it'll do it without too many compromises for either calling.